I know you're out there putting in the work, practicing scales, running patterns, trying to build speed through sheer effort and repetition. And that dedication matters. But what if I told you there was a way to build your speed that felt less like lifting weights and more like gliding across ice on a pair of skates? Almost effortless. That's what we're getting into today. A concept that will make you faster almost immediately. And once you feel it under your fingers, you're going to wonder why nobody showed you this sooner. Grab your guitar, let's go. So let's start with our first concept and a little history that puts it in context. Rock guitarists in the 1960s built a whole vocabulary around pentatonic box patterns, using mostly 2 notes per string. Great licks, iconic sounds, and the foundation of everything that came after. But as we moved into the 70s, players started pushing the boundaries of what was technically possible. Allan Holdsworth was playing these otherworldly legato lines. And that inspired a young Eddie Van Halen to put a second hand up on the fretboard. Allan's influence also played a major part in shaping the legato style of a player that was hugely influential to me, Joe Satriani. While Allan was playing outside-sounding lines that would melt your brain, Joe funneled that inspiration into a more palatable rock vocabulary. And I still remember the first time I heard him play lines like this. Or like this. What I realized was this: instead of playing conventional 2 or 3 note per string patterns, Joe was incorporating slides and sequences that allowed him to play more notes on every string. This allowed him to effortlessly play flurries of 7, 9, or even more notes on a string, while I was sitting there grinding away trying to keep up playing 2 notes on a string with alternate picking. What a revelation. Let me show you a template lick that we're going to use as a launching pad, and we're going to build it from there and move all around the fretboard. You're going to feel those effortless speed bursts immediately. Check it out. Let's keep our examples in the key of C, no sharps or flats to worry about. Here's the template lick I want you to get under your fingers. We're going to go to the 8th position, and we're going to find the G note on the B string. And if we build out a standard 3 note per string pattern in the key of C on the B and E strings, we'd have G, A, B, C, D, and E. 6 notes, right? Wrong. We're going to turn those 6 notes into 16. Here's how. We're going to play G, A, B, and then slide up into the C at the 13th fret and back, and then play back down to G, and then back up to B. That's 9 notes on one string. And then we're going to move to the high E, and we're going to play C, D, E, D, C, D, and E. That's 7 more. 16 notes total. And notice I only picked the first note on each string. So your legato technique has to be clean and accurate. We want to keep our fingers relaxed. We want to put just enough downward force on each note for it to sound out clearly. And also, watch that you're not using exaggerated motion on your pull-offs. It doesn't take much force to keep the string ringing. Too much force, your hands are going to fatigue fast. Look how small I can keep these movements while still getting every note to sound out clearly. So we want to get this part of the lick under our fingers before moving on. We want to go slowly at first, make sure everything is accurate and clean. You know, something played at a moderate speed but played cleanly sounds way more impressive than fast slop. Never forget that. Now we're going to add 3 more notes on the high E. We're going to shift up to the F at fret 13, and we're going to play F, E, and D, and then 3 more notes on the B string, C, B, and A. Then we're going to shift up a fret and play B, C, and D on the B string. And next we're going to crank things up with a 10-note flurry on the high E. We're going to play E, F, G, F, and E. Then we're going to shift up a fret and play F, G, A, G, and F. That's 10 notes. And that 10-note pattern is a great one to practice on its own. I mean, you can go eat a sandwich with your picking hand while you work on this part. And now the big finish, a 13-note flurry on the B string. We're going to play E, D, and C, shift down a fret and play B, C, D, C, B. Then shift up a fret and play C, D, and E, pull off to D, and slide back to E to finish the lick. Here are those 13 notes. It's smooth, it's liquid, and it's so much less effort than trying to pick through a passage like that. Let me play through the entire lick slowly. Here it is a little faster. Once you really get those notes under your fingers, you can start pushing those speed boundaries, all the while keeping your hands as relaxed as possible. If you're enjoying this video, I'd like to ask you a favor. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel. To continue putting out lessons like this, I need the channel to keep growing. So I'd really appreciate it. Thanks. Let's try another lick, this time a descending line in the key of C. What makes this one really fun are some phrasing tricks that I picked up from Steve Vai. They add a note or two beyond what you normally play with a straight scale run, and they give the ear something cool to latch onto, which is a bonus. So here's the C major scale we're working with. We're running from C at the 20th fret down to E at the 12th fret of the low E string. Now, if we just played it like that, it would sound pretty lame, but check this out. Start with a 7-note grouping on the B string. C, D, E, slide to F, and back to E, then D, C, D, and E again. Now we're going to move to the high E for a 16-note run. We're going to play F, G, A, G, F, G, A, B, A, and G, and then A, B, C, B, A, and G. Notice the little slides on that C and B. That adds a smoothness that a straight scale run never has. Here's what we've got so far. Now, here's where the phrasing gets really fun. We're going to play 5 notes on each of the B, G, D, and A strings. We're going to use 2 different techniques. On the B string, we're going to play F, E, F, E, and D. But what we're going to do, we're going to play the F, pull off to E, slide back to F, and then back to E, and then pull off to D. 5 notes, 1 fluid little motion. On the G string, we're going to play C, B, C, B, and A, with the same slide technique on the second C and B. Now, on the D string, we're going to switch to a trill. We're going to play G, F, E, and then hammer on and pull off the F back to E. On the A string, we're going to play D, C, B, and then hammer on and pull off the C back to B. Take your time practicing the notes on those 4 strings. Make sure every note is articulating cleanly. It's just a really great sounding little passage. And we can finish with 4 notes on the low E: A, G, F, and E. Here's the entire lick played slowly. And here it is, a little more up to speed. So once again, a lot of notes, but what feels like very little effort, especially compared to a passage where we would try to pick all those notes that quickly. We're creating easy speed by using hammer-ons and pull-offs, slides, and different sequences. That all maximizes the efficiency of what we're playing, which is more notes on each string. What's the shortest distance between 2 points? A straight line, like a guitar string. So now, let me show you some ways to practice and think about this style so you can work some easy speed into your guitar playing. Here's the key to constructing lines like the ones we've been playing. I'm visualizing 3 notes per string scale patterns, and the first thing I'm looking for are half steps in the scale. Why? Because half steps make for easy sliding. Check out these notes on the B string: G, A, and B at frets 8, 10, and 12, but we also have a C note a half step above the B at the 13th fret. So I can easily play this 9-note phrase. On the high E, same frets, we've got the notes C, D, E, and F, and we can put together this 10-note sequence where we slide into the F and then also slide from D to E to finish the lick. And we can put the 2 together and make a longer lick like this. Now, the patterns we just played let us do that half-step slide with our pinky, but we can also find patterns where the half-step slide is done with the index finger. Have a look at this. We've got the notes B, C, D, and E on the B string, and E, F, G, and A on the high E. In each case, we slide from the first to the second note on the string with our index finger. And we can make a lick out of that by playing B, C, D, C, B, C, D, E on the B string, and then F, G, A, G, F, E, F, G, and then we're going to slide from F to G to finish the pattern. Next, take that pattern, move it around to different places on the neck. Let your fingers, your brain, and your ears get used to the different feel of heavier strings, lighter strings, different fret widths, different registers on the guitar. Here's another thing to watch for: opportunities within a scale shape to execute the slides and the trills that we did in the second lick example earlier. Have a look at this C major scale pattern. On the E and B strings, we can play slides with the pinky because we have that half step there. On the G and D strings, we also have a half step, but we will execute the slide with our ring finger. And there are also half steps on the A and low E string located under the index and middle finger. Those are perfect for playing the trills on the E and F note on the A string and the B and C notes on the low E. As we saw in example lick number 2 earlier, that creates 5-note patterns on each of those strings, And we can squeeze those 5 notes in just about as fast as we could play a normal descending scale run. And it sounds so much cooler because the ear picks up on that phrasing. If we put it all together, we get this sound. I hope this gives you some great ideas on how to achieve easy speed in your playing. Spend a little time with a fretboard chart. You can work out patterns like this all over the neck. We were using major scale patterns today, but the idea of squeezing in more notes on a string, well, it works for pentatonic shapes also. The lines we were playing today incorporated a lot of fretting hand techniques. I'll do another video in the near future about making your picking hand more efficient and increasing your speed that way also. As always, I appreciate you watching. Have fun with that guitar. I'll see you next week.